Hangman Page against Jon Moxley in the Everybody Bleeds match, our Texas Death Match, and this was incredible. If you're into violent spectacles, I thought this was excellent.
Yeah.
Page jumps him as Moxley is making his entrance, and we get right into it. We're introducing.
By the way, so it's basically a last man standing match. That's what Texas Death is.
Texas Death Match.
Yeah.
Moxley brings out barbed wire immediately, and they're fighting over it. And Page drives the barbed wire into Moxley's forehead, and the dude starts bleeding on screen.
Like how many minutes?
Moxley.
Were you counting, John?
Oh, it was within 5. He was bleeding here. Page then wraps it around his foot. Moxley gets a fork, and he ends up applying a triangle and stabs him with the fork. Abdullah was not ever doing that I can recall.
Yeah, did Haleo invent this one?
This would be,
The fork triangle?
It would only be behind closed doors. Maybe this is what
I saw the Meow Brothers do this once.
Yeah. So Page then he gets his forehead all carved up. Page then misses Moxley and runs into a barbed wire chair in the corner. We also had a barbed wire table set up on the floor. Tons of barbed wire throughout this. Moxley brings out Quentin Jackson's chain and 2 bricks. It's about time we get some bricks involved in these matches.
We've seen cinder blocks. Bricks are sort of an unusual choice, and I think should be. I hope to see more of them after this.
Yeah. Also,
We've
not
seen
enough
Lego bricks, but not real bricks.
Yes, we also have not got enough men's hands squeezed between bricks. So he put Hangman's hand between the 2 bricks. He made a hand sandwich and stepped on the brick and followed it with a pile driver on the chain. Then the barbed wire board is placed onto 2 chairs on the floor, and it's Page with a backdrop suplex and a lariat, finally stopping Moxley's attack. And he dumps Moxley with a fall-away slam onto a barbed wire chair, followed with a deadeye on the chair, with Moxley still getting up from the count. So Page puts him through the barbed wire board on the floor with a pescado, and Moxley yells out, "Oh boy!" And the barbed wire is, this dude doesn't wear a shirt for these, so he's pulling it from his skin. I mean, it was, this was not for the faint of heart, to say the least. All this shit we're describing right now, it paled in comparison to me than these guys giving each other legit nails to the back and just digging their nails in. And dude, especially Moxley's like, he's clawing it with these barbed wire cuts on his back. Mm-hmm. That to me was the hardest part to watch of this whole match. Like, I can take stomps on bricks, barbed wire this, but man, those nails to the back. I mean, it was like, that's like the easiest old school pro wrestling move. And but the key is you don't really do it. And these guys were like, let's fucking claw each other's backs off. Okay, let's do it.
And it's because of the barbed wire, like, wounds that were already there. Absolutely. To me, that's professional wrestling right there. When you can get away and get a big reaction for doing something that hopefully doesn't hurt that much.
Page is on the turnbuckle, and he gets knocked off by Moxley, and he does a flip through this barbed wire board on the floor, and he came down at he was like coming down head first towards this as he breaks this board. Like, it looked pretty scary as he's coming down. Then the two make their way back into the ring. They're battling it out. Buckshot lariat gets ducked, and Page is hit with a Death Rider, and that's followed with a stomp onto a brick by Moxley, giving a shout out to his former Shield buddy. Rear naked choke is applied by Moxley, but then he lets go. Page comes back with a lariat, and he stacks the bricks on their side, because a regular brick, it's just not enough. You got to put them upright. And the Deadeye and Death Rider get blocked. Choke is applied by Page, and he wraps the chain around Moxley, and Moxley breaks free with a low blow, and the crowd boos Jon Moxley when he goes to the groin. So Page blasts him with the brick. Moxley gives the middle fingers as the buckshot is hit, and he's got the chain around Moxley's neck, and he proceeds to hang him over the top rope. So the Hangman wins by hanging a man as Moxley taps in 26 minutes and 3 seconds. A very significant finish for Jon Moxley to tap out. And as much as we talk about all the different baby faces that came out on top, Hangman Page was at the top of it in terms of your contender, I would say.
Yes.
But a lot of interesting options that you have of a very deep babyface side of things.
Yeah. I think this feud has completely reheated Hangman Page back up into title contention. I mean, he's a guy, like prior to that concussion that he had with Mox, and I don't know if that Mox match was meant to be, it was meant to go this far. And I don't know if it was meant to have Hangman Page come out on top at the end of it all. But what happened, and they used it to their advantage. And at the end of it, Hangman Page is as hot as I think he's been in really quite some time. So I would definitely, pair him up with MJF sooner than later. This match was incredible, as bloody and violent and as gruesome as you would expect. I thought it had some really brilliantly, creatively, beautifully executed spots. There was a lot of beauty in this very violent, bloody match. The use of the bricks in particular for the stomp and the hand sandwich, I particularly loved. I loved Page's fall away slam and deadeye onto the barbed wire chair. Really, like, this is the type of match that you could tell Jon Moxley lives for. Especially impressive is, I think, how good Page has blended with that brutal, violent, bloody, hardcore style that Moxley has kind of introduced. His intensity, I think, has been really, really strong as well. And in terms of story, I felt this match firmly drove Mox into heel territory with Claudio and now with Yuta when he hit that low blow. I mean, the crowd is okay with bricks. The crowd is okay with, all, like, whatever you want to do, barbed wire, nails on the back of a guy. But the moment you hit a low blow behind a ref's back, there's no nobility in that. And this was when the crowd, I felt, turned on Moxley in favor of Page. So I think it sets Mox up pretty well for, a heel run. And this felt like a very satisfying closer, the way that, like, a Briscoe's FTR dog collar match felt like a very satisfying closer. So yeah, really wonderful series.
Yeah, I felt very similar to watching the dog collar match as I did this. I feel like this is a match of the year contender. I thought it was excellent. For this style of match, I thought it was terrific. Great blow off to the program. You have a really strong babyface and Hangman Page coming out of this. It was just a wonderfully constructed match, delivered on the stipulation in a big way. A lot of creativity that went into this, and both were excellent in it. So a hell of a match that these two had, and 26 minutes no less.